Hit it. Oh, how you feel, brother?
Feeling good.
You feel good?
Feeling good. It's grooving.
Play so much bone, brother. How you feel, man?
I feel all right.
I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, Jam! Sure getting down. Gotta take you higher. Ow! All right. You wanna do it again? You wanna do it again, huh?
Yeah, let's go on back.
Gotta take you higher.
Power Lunch with Sharita J. If we could get more people to collaborate with our nonprofits, we could be bringing a lot more programs back to our schools, because there's grants where there's been a music program or an arts program or fine language program cut. There's grants where individuals could bring those programs into the schools and collaborate. So that's why I never shut up about this. C360. That stands for Collaborative 360, and that's where we've launched a program where we are identifying the grant funders and writing the grants for our affiliates. That can even be you if you're not already a part of C360. Hi, this is Sharita J, and I am here with you with Drive Time. Of course, that's Drive Time because here in LA, it is 5 p.m. And so that's Drive Time if you're in your car. And a lot of my listeners, they have their smartphones on, they have their little devices with them, and they hear me on the air. For those of you that are on the air from, let's say, all over the world, the East Coast, it's a little bit past Drive Time, but you're probably still in the car if your traffic is anything like LA. I'm excited to be back with you here today because last week I covered information about what do you do about grants. You know, people always hear me talk about grants, or you hear about funding that's available if you're watching the news and they say something like an entire police force ended up getting funding and it was able to keep 160 jobs. What a lot of people don't realize is that funding in most cases is grants. In your city or town, countries, there are so many opportunities for funding. There's so many businesses that you utilize on an everyday basis that you don't realize that they're nonprofits. A lot of their funding comes about because of grants. So that's why I'm doing this series on grant writing, developing a nonprofit, understanding how nonprofits, what kind of role they play in our community and even in our economy. A lot of people don't realize that even in the worst part of our down economy, starting like around 2007 to maybe 2011, the nonprofit industry played a very significant role in helping our economy to just maintain. At a time when for-profit jobs were dropping maybe like about, I think, 3.3% from like 2007 to about 2010, a study was done across like 21 states. And they found that while those for-profit jobs were dropping, nonprofit jobs were increasing by 2.5% or something like that. And so, again, a lot of people don't realize that the nonprofit arena is a $1 trillion industry. Matter of fact, statistics show that the nonprofit arena is the third largest business industry in the United States. And believe it or not, the U.S. falls fifth behind Canada, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Ireland. So it's a very significant industry. So for those of you that hadn't considered looking at it, that had not considered as a for-profit or an entrepreneur that you can collaborate with a nonprofit, for those of you that didn't even realize that you can have a for-profit and a nonprofit, this series is to bring you that more and more information so that we can all start collaborating across industries so that we can stop having so many blighted buildings and brownfields in our communities, so that we can all play a significant role in helping our communities to grow, to thrive, and survive. Yes, I'm talking about through the nonprofit arena. Now, I put emphasis on nonprofit because so many people think, again, that the term nonprofit means that you cannot make a profit. That's not the case either. Nonprofit means that it is a non-stock corporation. And what does that mean? That means that those investors, yes, I'm talking about grant funders and major donors and even small donors, when they give to a nonprofit or a tax-exempt organization, they're still investors. They're just investing to an organization that is a tax-exempt organization. So the reason why that non comes in is it is a non-stock corporation. So the return on the investment is kind of different than when someone invests in a for-profit company or if they have shares or shareholder, that their return on the investment is the money that they get back when that company is in revenue and they can get a return on whatever percentage or whatever shares they have. Well, in the nonprofit arena, it is a non-stock corporation. So mainly what I want you to understand is that when the return on the investment is the major write-off. And what a lot of people don't realize is that's really significant. That's why Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Ted Turner, Zuckerberg, and so many others, more than 100 plus billionaires, are giving 50, they've signed a pledge where they're giving 50 to 90% of their wealth from now on to the nonprofit arena. Now, if you'd like to see what I'm talking about, you can go to givingpledge.org. Go to the givingpledge.org and you can see all of those billionaires. Click on their name and it shows you what their program interests are. Now, I'm talking non-government money. So often people think that the only way that you can receive grants is through government dollars. And again, I'm revealing to you that that's not always the case. Though there are billions of dollars that are giving annually in government dollars, there's over almost 400 billion giving annually from private corporations and that kind of thing, and individuals. Over 400 billion, almost 400 billion. Now, adding to that, the Giving Pledge that I was just speaking of, that has added another 900 plus billion, 900 billion to the plate annually. Okay, so we're talking a whole lot of money that if you are not looking at this industry, you're missing out. Another reason why I keep talking about this, often, whether I'm on the air, when I'm speaking, whatever, that's why I speak at a lot of business conferences and entrepreneurial conferences and women's empowerment conferences, because what speaker is telling you this kind of information? I'm going to show you how with this money, even with your hobbies, there's ways for you to get grants as long as you also are impacting the lives of someone else. Okay? So that 980 billion is significant, plus that 400 plus billion, plus all of the government money that's available. Now, because so many of you that are business minded are not aware of these dollars, you would not believe the millions of dollars that go back every year untapped. Because so often individuals that are looking at the grants are individuals that many of them, such a large population, does not have business sense. So they're so busy trying to learn the nonprofit arena that they're not yet capable to go after the grants that are available on an annual basis. So millions of dollars go back every year untapped because individuals like yourself are not going after this money. Okay? So that being said, I want to take you to my screen and we're going to talk about project and information development. And how do you start now preparing yourself to go after this money that I'm speaking of? And based on how much time we have, then I'll even show you the grant funders. If I don't, I'll take that into another series so that we can make sure that you thoroughly learn in sequence. See, I'm teaching you in sequence in a way that you will remember, that you'll absorb it so that we can set a strong foundation for you to also be prepared to go after this money. So on my screen, I'm talking about the project information form, and I'm going to come out of this. I'm going to come out and I want to take you to my Word document. I'm going to make my screen a little larger. Okay, so now when I use this form, when I'm working with my clients, this is how I get information from them that we're needing for our grant writing efforts. I have a grant writing firm, and we have grant writers that are preparing proposals all the time, whether it's for our clients. I also have grant writers that are preparing information under our program, Collaborative 360. If you are interested in collaborating with organizations, going after grants, and receiving ongoing business development training, go to my website at kifoundation.org. That's kifoundation.org. And there you will click a tab that says C360. It's at the top on the left side. It's the first or second tab. go to C360 and that tells you about this program. But I have grant writers that are working there also. And what we're doing is we're going after grants collectively together. You don't have to be a nonprofit. You can be a person just with a napkin idea. You can be an entrepreneur that's ready to just kind of put your toe into the sea of the nonprofit arena, but you don't want to jump all the way in. You just want to test the water. Whatever the case, go check out C360. Well, either way, this is the kind of information that we have to obtain when someone is going to think about going after grants. So I'm going to just kind of scroll on down, the contact info, email, all of that. That's just generic. I want to take you to the next page. And this is where we're really needing, this is the guts of who you are. And this is how we will find out then what kind of grant can you go after. And the way that we know that is by pulling this information from you. Now, no matter how experienced a grant writer is, like I've been doing this since 1988, but I am not magic. I have to pull this kind of information from you in order to know what kind of grant and what strategies that we can implement into the document, into the narrative, to ensure that your programs are thoroughly explained. And so if you don't, and how often have I heard people say, Sharita, I've hired 5 grant writers. I've hired 6 grant writers. I can't even remember how many grant writers I've hired, and we have never been successful. Where I'm here to tell you that you might get mad at me, but if you have not been successful, then you are partially, a large portion of the blame goes on you. And why do I say that? Because again, a grant writer is just a stenographer. I'm not trying to play down our skill set or even the individuals that work for me. They have a unique skill set. It's just like someone that is excellent at writing business plans. That is a particular skill set. But whether someone's writing your business plan or a grant proposal, they do not know what's in your head. They don't know the certifications that you have. They don't know the accomplishments that have happened over the past 10, 15, 20 years. They don't know that you're certified in such and such. They don't know the kind of that you also have a counselor working for you. Or maybe you were at a very significant meeting last week and you met, like last week I was with the president of Mexico, he and his wife. And a lot of information I found out while I was meeting with them. Well, had I not met with them and asked the pertinent questions, I would not know the information that could go into their grant applications. So until you learn that, until you learn the mechanics of grant writing, even though you're not going to be your ongoing grant writer, you don't know what to feed your grant writer. So how will they know what to put in this kind of information? So you must learn what the grant writing components are, so that as you're in your day-to-day operation, you will know what to include or what to funnel to your grant writer once you have one available. But initially, you've got to go after your dollars. So that's where this comes in, and I'm going to be showing you how do you do that. So first thing is I'm asking, briefly describe the history and expertise of your agency. If you don't have an agency, that means you. Include what you or your agency does, the composition of your staff and or volunteers, and whom you have traditionally served or targeted. That's your geographic area. You know, like let's say that if you have a boutique, a lot of times people don't realize that if you have a boutique, and let's say that you're the only one there on a daily basis, you can't leave to go to the bank, you can't take lunch, none of that. Well, do you know that if you collaborated with a local job training program, and now some individuals can be in there working with you, and they're learning inventory control, they're learning leadership skills, improved communication skills, how to become an entrepreneur. Well, so if you're writing that here, you're talking about how long you've been in business. You know, let's say that you say something like, I've owned my one-woman shop, and excuse my spelling, for more than 20 years. And let's say it's a clothing boutique. Now, probably before hearing me say this today, you didn't realize that that could also tie to grants. So I'm just kind of showing you a little bit of information here. We're going to play with this for the rest of the show. So I've owned my one-woman shop for more than 20 years. I possess over 30 years management experience. I was let's make up some stuff here, and we'll just do things in bullets. Was awarded the Woman of the Year award by the state of California for my outstanding business strategies and growth. Okay. Let's see, what else? Now, I always go back up and see what else are they wanting. So they want to know the composition of your staff, your volunteers. Who are you? Who have you traditionally served? So here, your boutique as a for-profit. My facility is in a low-income area, which is bringing quality clothing and affordable products to the community. Okay. Who have you traditionally served? And so you're talking about your community, your geographic area. So let's say that I am in an area that is predominantly African American and, well, spell American, correct, Sharita, and Latino. Okay. Oh, and now I have a few emails that I received with some questions that I will address. But if anyone out there would like to call us, oh my God, I always forget my number, 323-965. What is my number? 965, is it 1600?
323-965-1600. That's 323-965-1600.
He is on it. He's on it, you guys. Matter of fact, I have an absolutely phenomenal station engineer, and there's a grant for that. And so he and I are going to be talking about how what he's doing, he can be training individuals and they can be on it just like he just was, because they've got to be paying attention. They've got to know when to move those buttons. He has to know when to cue me to come in with that very fun, funky music that was just playing. They play a very significant role, and there's a grant for that. Okay. So here I'm just showing you the kind of information that will go here. We're going to put some bullets here. And so that as you're providing information, please don't worry about that you have to write a whole college thesis, that you have to go back 40 years and wonder what you did. Just start getting your information down. And I guarantee you, as you start putting your information down, other things will come to you. Okay. Let's see. So let's say that you, last year, you had 10 young ladies from the local youth mentoring program that you awarded dresses for their spring dance. Okay. So let's say that you're doing all that kind of stuff. Let's just move on, because I want to make sure that I have time to explain each section to you. Now, what I want you to understand, let me make American right, is that each section ties to the other. What we're doing and what grant funders will be doing when you look at their grant applications is they're first seeing, are you qualified to do what you say you're going to do next? We're going to be identifying what problems you can address, who are you going to be serving, what are going to be some of the positive outcomes. And so now, number 2, it says, what other agencies or associations do you work with to address the needs of your target population? Well, already, remember up here, I said 10 young ladies from the youth mentoring program. I'm going to make that in red. Okay. So I'm going to copy that also, and that will go in this section. So let's say we're going to call it the Youth Empowerment, the name of them, mentoring program. And then it says provide services or reason why they were involved with you. Well, remember the young ladies up here, 10 young ladies from the local youth mentoring program. You donated, went to the wrong place. Okay, so let's say also that you worked with that for the local high school, let's call it ABC High School. And here you donated formal dresses for the prom. Um, So I'm saying here that you donated formal dresses for the prom. Young ladies had to show formal, the family income, maybe check stubs or something like that, to show financial hardship. Now, what does that mean? See, by you being able to do this, you don't even have to be the nonprofit. If you're collaborating with the nonprofit, it could be paying you a salary for working with the young women in your program. Let's say that you have them working there and you're teaching them financial literacy, how to run your business. You're showing them inventory control. You're helping them with customer service, leadership skills. It's helping them to feel more comfortable with who they are. So it's helping with self-esteem. And we're going to talk about all those different things that I'm naming. That there's grant funding for all of those different areas also. Okay. So then with me saying that if you're donating those dresses, you don't have to just absorb that cost from your shop. If you're donating those dresses, then grants can cover the cost of every dress that you donated. Okay. Let's see. So I hope that you're understanding what I'm saying here. Now, let's say that also you worked, let's say that the Kelly's Beauty Shop. Okay. Now, what are you doing with that beauty shop? Let's say that in collaboration with Kelly's Beauty Shop, she provided hair styling services for the prom, for the ladies that were presented with the prom.
Hit it. How you feel, brother?
Feeling good.
You feel good?
Feeling good. It's groovy.
Ain't so much bone, brother. How you feel, man?
I feel all right.
I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, Jam! You're getting down. You gotta.
Okay, so anyway, I'm showing you again how for-profits and nonprofits can collaborate. And again, the boutique doesn't have to be a nonprofit. The school is not a nonprofit. Let's say the empowerment program is a nonprofit, and Kelly's Beauty Shop is not a nonprofit. So I'm showing you again, this is program development. And while you're developing these programs, you are helping individuals feel better about themselves, probably preventing bullying, because preventing low self-esteem. I mean, our hair can dictate how we feel throughout the day. I'm having a pretty bad hair day to day, but it's all right because I'm loving it anyway. But the thing is suppose a young lady doesn't have the money to get her hair permed, or, because of financial hardship, there's different things that may happen. And she just cannot make herself look beautiful. Think about how she's going to feel when she's able to work with Kelly's Beauty Shop. Okay? Let's see. My station engineer is saying something here. You're not seeing my screen. Let me see. Share my screen. You are so good. You're so good, Rock. You're so good, man. You got me covered. Okay. So we're good, Rock? Coach steady? Yes? Good. All right. Okay, so now this is, again, this section, what other agencies or organizations do you work with to address the needs of the target population? Now, you might be saying, well, what are the needs? Well, I've been speaking of them already. In the community, there's a lot of low-income families. You might have a lot of kids that are from single-parent households, and maybe they're going home to an empty house every evening. Well, with this organization collaborating and letting young girls come there and teaching them about Dress for Success, helping with leadership skills, all of that, what are the needs? Well, Statistics show that young people are in trouble at the height of the day between 2:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. So if this program is involving young people to come to the shop, helping them get their hair together, collaborating with other programs to offer services also, then that's going to impact pregnancy prevention, that's going to impact gangs, that's going to impact crime, that's going to impact drug use, it's going to impact bullying. How often have we seen on YouTube that there's major fights? You've got 8 girls jumping on a girl, or you've got, crimes going on, people robbing, a store, or kids getting together and they're street racing. If they're doing what they love, then a lot of those things could be prevented. Okay? So what I'm trying to show you is, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, as someone that probably just has a napkin idea, this is an opportunity for you to do what you love, do what can make you money, and change someone's life. What's greater than that? Okay? So going back to my form here, number 3, what are the specific community needs or problems that you are trying to solve through the proposed project? Provide agency or local statistics or data that help illustrate these concerns. And describe your proposed clients, their gender, their age, geography, that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to go to a web page. I'm going to open a new window. And I'm just going to show you a quick way that you can find statistics. Now, I like to search in Google. I always tend to get my best results when I'm in Google. And let's type in, let's say that Los Angeles. Let's say that this organization is in LA, and let's say it's South Central Los Angeles. Of course, I don't think they call it South Central anymore, but I bet I can still find some stuff for South Central. Okay? And let's put in youth crime. This is just a simple way on how to find statistics. Okay? One second, let's see. So here, let's see, the end of gangs, let's see, South LA, with Wikipedia, LA riots, history. Let's put in let's look at what happened in 2014. Okay? Historic South Central profile, mapping, LA versus South Central, what's in crime, what's in a name. Okay, 10 years ago by local decree. Oh, no, instead of crime, what I want to look up. I mentioned, since we're working with young ladies, okay, let's put in a zip code, 90003, teen pregnancy. Okay. Pregnancy preclinic, presenting teen pregnancy, LA Youth, Roosevelt High, a hotspot for teen pregnancy. Let's click on that and see. This is the kind of information, because anytime when you're going after grants, there has to be a need. So let's say that this woman's boutique is wanting to work with young women, and she can go and look, let's see, 18-year-old, graduated June, that is getting pregnant, dropping out of school is not so unusual at Roosevelt, a school with one of the highest rates of teen pregnancy in the Los Angeles Unified School District. So let's just say that we pulled this info. We don't have time to read everything, but let's say that we pulled this. Then it will come back over into your document, and you would say something like this. Our program is necessary the high teen pregnancy in the area based of information from, and we'll go and see where we just pulled this information. And then graduate to do. Let's see, where do I want to start that? Let's do it right here. Based off of information from, blank, wherever that was from. Getting pregnant and dropping out of school is not so unusual at Roosevelt, a school with one of the highest rates of teen pregnancy in the Los Angeles area. So I'm just showing you how you can go and easily find information to support the need for your program or service. Concerned about the impact on the girl's education, a nurse practitioner, Planned Parenthood agreed today is the only high school in the school district with a Planned Parenthood clinic. Man, if they have a Planned Parenthood clinic, that says a lot of pregnancy is going on, right? So you always want to note where you received your information. So Boyle Heights Beat. So we will place that here. And you can even copy their web link. That's a Control-C, what I just did. Okay, so that you can always document where you get your information. You don't want to just plagiarize. You want to, and you don't want to just copy the whole, all of their information, but it's okay to use information and say where you got that information, unless it says that you cannot use any of their information. You can't because of copyright or whatever. Okay, so again, you have to validate why your programs are needed. You have to show the need and that kind of thing. Let's see if we can go and find some statistics. So I'm going to just type in statistics. Okay, breathing science. Let's see if they have some stats here. This writing is so little. If I don't find something quick, I'm just going to come back out, you guys. Let's see, LA. Where's some stats? Where's some stats? Now, believe it or not, and as you keep saying, teen pregnancy is falling. But there's a few things, a few reasons why teen pregnancy is falling. For one, and I recently was working with an organization and they had pulled all of this information. For one, it's not that these young girls are no longer having sex. They're having sex in different ways. And so instead of having sex the most common way, many of them are into oral sex. Many of them are into other ways of having sex. And so the teen pregnancy is falling, but that doesn't mean that the young ladies are no longer having sex, or young people are no longer having sex. And that we're still in an epidemic state of AIDS. And so we've got to start helping our young people do more of the things that they love, because oftentimes people get involved with sexual activities because of boredom, because of peer pressure, because of so many other things besides that's really what they want to do. And that's why I never stop talking about how we can start helping our young people more. I'm set on helping young people, seniors, and the disadvantaged, because it is very important that we start making more of a difference in these individuals' lives. Okay? So I'm not going to stay on that. I don't want to just stay on that and not get anything else accomplished. But I want you to see there's so many ways I want you to be able to go in and just type in statistics. I'm going to put this here so you can go back later. Statistics, and put in your zip code. And again, I get my best results by searching in Google. Give me a moment. Hold on, I'm starting to break into a little bit of a sweat. It's getting a little warm in here. It's getting hot in here. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Number 4, what results do you hope to achieve through your proposed project? How will it fulfill the needs or solve the problems? Now, remember, I've been talking about the boutique. So what results do you hope to achieve? Well, if she's bringing young women and men into the shop, they're working there. Again, they're learning how to run their own business. They're learning how to keep inventory to know when they're running low, whether it's on blouses, necklaces, how many of the pairs of pants they've sold or whatever. That's inventory control. It's helping them to learn better communication skills. It's helping them to be a more reliable and a citizen in their community. It's doing so many things. And that's where you will place this information right here in number 4. Okay. And then it also says, what are your measurable objective? Your measurable objective should describe how your clients will be affected by your project. So let's say that with the young people that you have coming into the shop, before they can start working with you in the shop or volunteering or receiving your prom dresses or suits or whatever, let's say that you have a questionnaire that they complete. It also has to be attached to it, has to be their grade card. So maybe let's say that they're a C average and they start with you at the very beginning of the year, and quarterly you're going to look at their grade card. Well, here when it says measurable results, if you are making a difference in their life, if they're happier in what they're doing, if they're feeling like a productive citizen and student, do you think that you're going to impact their grades? Of course. Of course you are. And so this is where, by having the questionnaire, again, you can also even ask, let's say that you ask questions on your questionnaire, find out where they are as far as birth order. The reason why I say that, even when I'm speaking to women's groups, even when I'm training on board development, I always try and get people to look at where are they in birth order, because it does matter. Whatever you are, wherever you are in birth order, it has an impact on how you do things. Like, for instance, you know how they always say something like the middle child syndrome. Well, that's not always a negative. Usually the middle child is the peacemaker. Think about that middle child is the one that if the oldest one is in his room and they have a baby brother and he's in the room and getting in the way or messing with his computer, he's hollering at him and screaming for him to get out. The middle one is probably the one going in and getting the little one out of the room and saying, come on, I'll play with you. Come on, let's go in your room. So he's that peacemaker. That same peacemaker will grow up and be the peacemaker, whether it's in business, might be a community advocate, maybe that one that is always trying to make a difference with someone. Or now I had a board member, I had an executive of a company, and when he was getting ready to have his board meetings, he kept getting sick to his stomach. He just wasn't feeling good. Every time when he was getting ready to have a board meeting, he was the middle child, and he did not realize that he had chosen his brothers as his board members. He had one board member that was always bossy and demanding. He had another board member that was whiny and always felt like that one just was picking on him and wouldn't take his ideas. Well, he had chosen personalities that he felt comfortable with, but also those same personalities were what made him uncomfortable in getting ready to have his board meeting. So again, I always try and ask, where are people in their birth order, because it plays a role in your life, even as adults. So if you're asking where are they in birth order, those leaders, the ones that come in that's working in your boutique, the ones that's already trying to manage the other individuals, they might be the oldest. Or if you have someone that kind of strolls in late a lot and kind of wants their way, and when they come in still they want people to do what they say do, that might be that baby and the one that's been used to getting their way even though they didn't have to do as much. So when you find out where they are in birth order, it's going to help you to learn where to place them, whether they're volunteering with you, whether they're going to end up having a paid position. And so again, you're asking those kinds of questions so that you can either help their leadership skills. If there's someone that's bossy, you will be able to, by asking those questions and finding out where they are, it can help you to help them to learn how to monitor how they talk to people and to kind of tone down that bossiness. But again, suppose you ask simple questions like, if they go to a party, now this is how you can check their self-esteem. If they go to a party, do they, and let's say that they're being dropped off by their mom, they might be 13 to 15 years old, so they're not driving. So suppose when they're dropped off by their parent or their older brother and sister, if they're dropped off at a party, do they A, go right in and start saying hello to everyone and dancing and having a good time? B, do they kind of wait around outside to wait to see if somebody that they know is going to come in and then they could go in with them? Or C, do they ask whoever brought them to the party to wait? They sit there in the car to wait to see if somebody they know is come, and then they get out of the car and will go in the party. Now, what is that going to tell you? That's going to let you know, is that an outgoing person and they don't care whether they know strangers, whether they're strangers or not, anyone they know, they just go right on in head first and they're comfortable with that? That shows that they have high self-esteem. Or is it someone that, kind of hangs outside and wait till they see one of their buddies and then they walk in? Or it may just be that they may have trouble just communicating initially until they get warmed up. Then you've got that individual that wants to wait in the car, almost ready to go back home because they don't want to go in until they can go in with a group of friends or something like that. That might be that individual where they've maybe been teased a lot. They've always had someone around them, and so they're not comfortable being by themselves. But either way, it will help you to know how to deal with that individual and to help bring out the best of them. Okay? So when you're asking these questions, it's showing you how to produce what grant funders call deliverables. All right? Next, describe the project activities. Now, this is where you're going to be talking about, like I've been discussing, how that shop owner could be teaching them inventory control, leadership skills, and all that. Well, this is where you're putting all the details of that. If you're teaching inventory control, what would that look like? 1, 2, 3. What are the activities? You're going to take them back in your small warehouse and show them how to keep track of how many pants came in on the shipment, how many blouses, how to, this is where you're teaching all that, and this is where you're saying the details. If it's customer service, then what are going to be your strategies in teaching customer service? If it's leadership skills, if it's shop management. So all the different things that you're doing, this is where you're spelling out the details, okay? Because this is where your budget comes from. People always want to know, okay, well, Sharita, what's going to be my budget? Always, when someone's looking for grants, the very first thing they want to know is, what is their budget going to be? Well, they're out of sequence. If you're asking about the budget before you design what you're going to do, you're out of sequence. You can't know what your budget is until you get all this stuff lined up. It's almost like if you go shopping for furniture, but you don't even have your house yet. You don't know whether it's a 1-bedroom house, a 5-bedroom house, or a studio. So you get, let's say that you're asking for $15,000 to buy furniture. And whoever you're asking, they can afford to give it to you. And they say, okay, well, what are you going to do with this $15,000? Oh, I'm going to get some furniture. Well, furniture for what? Well, I'm planning to buy a house, or I'm planning to get me an apartment. You're planning? Do you know what size apartment? Do you know if you're going to have a patio and if you need patio furniture or not? Do you know if you have a living room and a den or a great room, so that you need not only a couch and love seat for one room, but a couch and love seat for the other room? If you have not done your due diligence, that's what's called planning and development, and being in sequence of putting it together, then talking about a budget, you're way ahead of the game. You're way ahead of yourself. That's like putting the cart before the horse. You cannot put the cart before the horse. Now, I like to use the example of the cart and the horse because, let's see, wow, this time is going fast. Well, I won't go there yet. If I don't get to cover all of your questions, and I'm sorry, I had some internet questions here, but I will have to address those in my next series because I want to get as far along in this as possible. So I may send you back, for the few that I have here, I may send you back a response because I don't know if I'll be able to address them on this session. And so, but one of the things that I want you to know how to do also is, how do you evaluate your success? Now, remember earlier I was talking about having a questionnaire and asking those individuals, where are they in birth order? Asking them, have they ever worked before? Do they come from a single parent household or a 2-parent household? Are their parents currently employed? And, even asking those kinds of questions, because our children learn their work ethic by watching our work ethic in many ways. And so if you're dealing with individuals that are coming to your shop and they haven't watched anyone get up and go to work, they haven't watched anyone balancing their check and paying bills, then you're dealing with someone that is totally raw. And so you may have to implement a financial literacy piece also with your training program. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to now be a financial advisor and all that. No, that's where you collaborate. And back here where I was asking you, who else would you work with to implement your programs? Let's say that you collaborated with your sister. She works for Bank of America as a financial advisor. And so over here, let's say that she's going to teach financial literacy to youth involved with your programs. Okay? So then now when you're coming over here and you're asking those questions back on your form, have any of them ever had a bank account? What is their knowledge about understanding money? And they can rank themselves, let's say from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. You think of the questions that so that you know what kind of results you want to produce by working with your program. Okay, so then over here in number 6, this is where you will be talking about the outcomes that you expect. If the young people, if you got their grade cards in the first quarter, then at the end of the second quarter, you should see a difference in their literacy. And maybe they were C average, now they're a B average kind of, And so at least that's still producing positive results. What kind of results can you pull from the program that you can now start to operate from your for-profit business? Okay. Next. So now, if you here at number 7, have you received any funding in the past or in-kind donations, donated equipment, free facility usage, large population of volunteers? If so, please make a conscious effort to provide as much information as possible in the below table. So let's say that here, you remember we were talking about getting prom dresses donated. So let's say that because you don't carry the prom dresses in your boutique, let's say that you went to Saks Fifth Avenue and you collaborated with them and asked them to donate the 10 dresses. Then here you would put Saks, and you would say here that it was an in-kind donation. And the monetary value, let's say for the 10 dresses, if they donated 10 dresses, valued is, let's say, $250 each. So then the monetary value, if they're $250 each and it's 10 dresses, then the monetary value is $2,500. So what I'm saying to you is even your in-kind donations are significant. If a grant funder is looking at this, and even though you did not pay for the dresses, the fact that you were able to get a store of this relevance to donate to you, they must believe in you. They believe in the results that you're producing because you've shown them positive deliverables. And so this is where you start calculating that. Let's say that the individual that I was talking about, that maybe you asked them for $15,000 for furniture. Let's say that you asked them for $20,000. Let's say a donor, and let's call it John Doe, gave a contribution. So this was money. Oh, let's say donation. And let's say that John Doe gave $20,000. Okay. And what was it for? So here you could say that it was for to cover the salary of the boutique owner, to provide training for youth involved in the career development and empowerment program. So I'm showing you here that you can get a salary for what you are doing. Okay? So let's say that this salary covered you for 3 months. Wouldn't that help you as a boutique owner? Okay, so I just wanted to show you how, even as a for-profit individual, an entrepreneur, someone that has a boutique in a community, there's opportunities for you. There is a grant for that. Okay, so I want to just go back over to my PowerPoint and show you a little bit more information before I have to let you go today. Okay, now let's say that you've developed a nonprofit, but something goes on and you have to dissolve it. Okay. Now, many people remember him. He's from Penn State. And let's see. Now, this happened back in 2012, and it says the nonprofit for at-risk youth started by former Penn State coach Jerry Sandusky, which he allegedly used to find boys. Now, that's what they said allegedly, right? It's moving to disband and transfer its assets to another organization. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this, remember earlier when I started and I was talking about the difference, if you are a for-profit and you have shareholders and all of that, or a nonprofit, you're a non-stock corporation. Well, as a for-profit company, if you disband, if you shut it down, the assets could go to you, the owner, or to the investors, the shareholders, that kind of thing. In the nonprofit arena, because you're getting free grant money, tax-free money, you cannot disband an organization like as a nonprofit and you take all of the assets. It must go to another nonprofit. So that's what I wanted to show you here. The officials at the Second Mile Foundation, they filed paperwork to disband, and all of the assets, approximately $2 million, is going to a youth organization in Houston, Texas. Fundraising for the nonprofit plummeted after Sandusky, Penn State's former assistant football coach under the late Joe Paterno, was charged with abusing 10 boys. And so it really impacted the contributions and everything else to the foundation. Now, if this is where I wanted to show you how, if you are a for-profit company, you still can go up under the umbrella of a nonprofit, and they serve as the funnel. That's why I have that showing there. They're your fiscal agent. The dollars funnel through them to you to run that program. So the young lady that I was talking about that has a boutique, for instance, she doesn't have to be the nonprofit. She's collaborating with the nonprofit and running the program, okay? The fiscal agent is an organization that agrees to serve as the pass-through to receive the grants on behalf of your organization, or you. Why use a fiscal agent? Let's say you're an entrepreneur that wants to submit for a grant that requires nonprofit status. Or you could possibly be a nonprofit, but the grant funder is requiring an audited financial statement, and you don't have that. So in turn, you could go up under another nonprofit that has their audited financial statements, and then you can go after the grants. Now, who can serve as a fiscal agent? Well, I'm introducing to you our program. Remember earlier in the show, I was talking about going to my website, kifoundation.org, and looking at the tab that says C360. Well, if you're interested in our program, it's under our big project, which is called Bridging Individuals Globally. And under this program, you can be a part of our C360 program. We already have individuals all over the globe, and they're entrepreneurs, community leaders, and nonprofits, and even churches, even a clergy. So BIG's collaborative efforts will be fully committed to the advancement of our affiliates to ensure that vital resources and services are available for those that need them. How will this happen? Well, we're showing you how to pay it forward by making a difference and helping you to do that through grant funding and management training. So this program is only $75 a month if you're interested in that. Normally, if you were going to ask someone to write a grant for you, you would pay probably a minimum of $5,000 for one grant. Well, for $900 a year, you're not only getting management training and leadership training for your nonprofit or your for-profit or your small business, board development, just all kinds of training that you would get on a monthly basis. In addition to the program, we will go after approximately 5 grants annually for you. Okay, so join us. You'll be in great company. Okay, so what are you going to do? And then next, I want you to go to my website at kifoundation.org and sign up for the free grant information that we send out weekly. It will benefit you to see what's going on, to stay abreast of the information that we send out, so that you too can jump in, that not just putting your toe in the water, but jump into this ocean of nonprofit and grants that's available. You can truly help make a difference. It'll change your life, okay? So also, come and join me on the air. If you're making a difference in your community, if you're an author, if you just got a great story to tell, then go to my website and you will see where it says, go to SharitaHerring.com, and there's a tab that says On the Air. Go there and enter your information. Tell us who you are. Tell us your story so that we can see what you're doing, and my listeners and viewers can see you also, okay? And then lastly, there's the Power Networking Conference in collaboration with George Fraser and FraserNet. This is an amazing conference for African Americans. I mean, I have never seen a conference like this. Again, go to SharitaHerring.com and click on P as in Paul, N as in Nancy, C as in Charles, and that stands for Power Networking Conference. Go there because it's normally over $399. If you sign up on my site by the 28th of February, excuse me, you can save $100. So go sign up at the PNC link. Okay? So again, let's get busy. I want to show you how to change the world. How can I help you, excuse me, find profit for your passion? This is Sharita Herring with Drive Time with Sharita J. Join me next Wednesday. Excuse me. I'll be in Mexico with the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, and his wife. Join us. We're going to have a great time. I'm choking. I've got something in my throat. I'm glad it happened at the end of the show. Mr. Station Engineer, are you ready to take me out?
Hit it. Oh, how you feel, brother?
Feeling good.
You feel good?
Feeling good. It's groovy.
Ain't so much bone, brother. How you feel, man?
I feel all right.
I'll call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, Jam! Sure getting down. Gotta take you higher. Ow! All right. You want to do it again? You want to do it again, huh?
Yeah, let's go on with that.
Gotta take you higher. Bam.
Power Lunch with Sharita J. If we could get more people to collaborate with our nonprofits, we could be bringing a lot more programs back to our schools because there's grants where there's been a music program or an arts program or fine language program cut. There's grants where individuals could bring those programs into the schools and collaborate. So that's why I never shut up about this. C360. That stands for Collaborative 360, and that's where we've launched a program where we are identifying the grant funders and writing the grants for our affiliates. That could even be you if you're not already a part of C360. And you know, Kim, again, I'm always touching on where there's grants. Even when you're doing your show,